Hi, everybody. Welcome to the QB School. I'm JT O'Sullivan. Today, we're talking playing quarterback from a dome inside. What's it like? Is it different than even maybe a perfect day outside? Talk about all those kind of weather ramifications. I'm excited. This should be a good one. Welcome to the QB School. Boom! All right, if you like this kind of content, please think about subscribing to the channel, hit the bell, let you get notifications, let you know when we go live, when we put out new stuff. I'm really excited to continue to grow this thing, but it needs the support of people who care about the channel. So please subscribe, bell, make it happen. Thanks for watching. All right, first question from Paul Kitteridge. Hope I said that right. Hey, JT, just wondering if playing in a dome is really that much different than playing outdoors, even if it is a perfect day out with little, no wind. Keep up the great work. Appreciate the question, Paul. Playing in a dome for a quarterback, in my opinion, is awesome. It is like a perfect day. I always think they're like 400-yard passing days before the game even starts. It's just one of those things you just take out a variable that you don't have to worry about. Even when you're playing outside, there's still something. It's hot. Grass, real grass usually, different elements that you're going to be dealing with during the course of the week that I just think is totally different than when you're playing at home, especially if you're a home dome team. If you're a home dome team, it's just such a huge advantage in my opinion because the temperature in the building, in warm-ups it's going to be cold out there because they got to prepare the temperature in the dome for, tens of thousands of people to come in within an hour. And so there's just this element of being comfortable all the time and then just knowing kind of your surroundings. For me, it was one of those things, especially domes. The first time I would play in a dome, I always had to go out and throw kind of go routes down all four corners because I just didn't have a good idea of what the space was. And it's such a weird thing to think about. But I remember early in my career in a preseason game, I threw a go route like 5 yards out of bounds, like a never in history ball. And I was just like kind of shocked. And it was really, and I think thinking back on it, it was because I just didn't have a good understanding of the space of it. It just felt different than every other outdoor stadium I had ever been in. And so I made that point from there moving forward to go out and just kind of get my bearings, especially if it was a new stadium. The longer you play in the league, the more you go to the same stadiums over and over, especially in divisions. But it's one of those things for me, I loved playing in a dome. I just remember, even if it was like early in the season, you knew you were going to get a good weather day, you'd wake up on a away trip or even at home when you're in the hotel. And the first thing I would always do every time, peek open, take a look at the trees, see if I see wind, if there's sun, rain, all those things. And it really used to just be like an unnecessary stressor for me. All these things that you would worry about as a quarterback, the last thing you really want to worry about is a weather. And so the way that I ended up dealing with it is I think you just get more and more comfortable, especially being a California kid. Like, I'm used to spending it all year round. There is no bad weather here. It's, December, January, and it's beautiful out here. And so it's one of those things where I just didn't have to worry about it growing up to now all of a sudden you're in the league and it's December, January football and it's freezing, and so I ended up getting to the point where you just get used to it a little bit. You practice in it. That's why I think you have to practice outside, even if you have an indoor facility in some of these cold weather spots, just to get used to, not that you ever get used to it, but you find ways and things that work for you. And so whether it's, hand warmers, the gear that you're wearing, all of those things to make the experience, as professional and kind of replicable as possible. So that's what I was used to doing. And then you get to the point for me, I ended up realizing that it was just such a stressor that at the end of the day, if I'm going out there to play or practice in bad weather, I'm going to throw, at most 30 times, back then in a game. And so, depending on what the weather's like, even in our pregame, I was in pregames that were downpours, like monsoons. Then you go out for the game and it's beautiful and sunny. And so to worry about stressing and being like all these things about what the ball is going to be like, I remember hearing like Troy Aikman being like, he was so nervous all the time if there was a weather game or rain game or anything like that. And I was the same way. And so then you get to the point where you're just like, hey, it doesn't matter, man. It is what it is. The other team's going to have the same elements that we're going to have. And I think you get more comfortable, playing in bad weather games. But as far as a dome, like what is it like? It is awesome. I mean, it really is. The track is perfect usually. Nobody's slipping, sliding. It's fast. It's clean. No wind at all. No sun, no glare, no anything. Like, now, from a fan perspective, like, I think it's way cooler to be in the elements, watching it on TV, being there. It's just it feels like more real, football. but from spinning it, playing quarterback, like a dome every day, all the time, it is magical to go out there and throw in perfect elements all the time. Like there's just, you can't overstate how important it is for the quarterback, for the feel, for the ball, for all the perimeter players, the timing, the cleanness of the routes, the precision, all of those things. Dome life is a good life. And so my first 3 years in the league in New Orleans in a dome, I think I appreciated it, but not really. Like, I mean, and then you go to like the NFC North and, you know, some of those places are disasters. And then I go to Canada and there's some days where you can't even warm up. The wind is so sideways. And so it's just being able to deal with it as best you can, but realize that when you're in a dome, like I always used to look at if you're not a dome team, and even if you are a dome team, I would always go when the schedules come out and be like, oh, we got 10 dome games, or like, you know, we got 3 dome games, you know, those type of things that just, you don't maybe think about if you're not a quarterback, if you're not in it all the time, but they really are great days to spin it. And I always used to appreciate it. That is a great question. Thanks for asking.